What's up, everybody? I'm James, and I'm the new lead singer for Armored Saint.
But John Bush is an Armored Saint.
Not anymore. I kicked him out.
Oh, okay. So you have control over who's in what band. Huh?
I have control over Armored Saint.
So now that you're not in Guns N' Roses anymore,
Now I'm in Armored Saint.
All right. And I'm Mario, and we are two Metalheads. So James got a request.
Yes, I got a request from
you explain that.
My boy Will, who we went to fucking high school together.
What high school was that?
Ossining High School.
Oh, okay.
And he's living over in Thailand now. I haven't seen him in fucking years.
You banging a lot of hookers?
Probably.
Man boys?
Asian hookers. I hope he's not doing the man boy thing. Ooh.
Oof.
Ooh. But
I'm sure he'll let you know now.
But
he's gonna be like, you dick.
I fucking hate you guys. I'm gonna stop watching the show now.
Unsubscribe.
Oh, we're gonna be down to 13.
No, we're at 15 now.
Are we at 15?
Yeah.
No shit. Thanks to all you guys, by the way, who've been fucking subscribing. I appreciate it. If you guys could spread the word about us and try to get us some more subscribers, try to get some more people to watch the show.
Yeah, and if there are any of you who have subscribed to us on YouTube that didn't find it through the Facebook page, we do have a Facebook page.
Yes.
And it's Two Metalheads. So you could go on there also, and you'll know when our video is out.
Right.
Or
Yeah, we post weekly just like we do here on YouTube.
Yeah.
So Will from Thailand asked me, which Anthrax singer was better for their era and why?
This is a tough one.
It is a tough one. There's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, I mean, 80s, it definitely got to be Joey Belladonna. There's no way John Bush would have been better in the 80s
No.
for Anthrax than Joey Belladonna was.
No way.
But I think, in my opinion, I think they both would have been doomed in the 90s.
Yeah.
Anthrax did good with John Bush. I'm not a huge Anthrax fan. I do like them, but I've never been a huge fan of theirs. And I've never really been into John Bush. I do like Joey Belladonna. But the 90s, none of the metal did really good in the 90s, so I don't know if it would have mattered.
I don't know if I'd say none, because Pantera still did really well.
Yeah, alright, but most of it did. Most metal.
Metallica was still headlining the Garden and doing all that kind of shit in the 90s.
But if they were doing really well in the 80s, and they were still doing well in the 90s, but not as well, it could have happened either way. Like it doesn't. To me, I'm not sure if Joey Belladonna in the 90s would have had the same effect as John Bush.
Right.
For those songs, maybe they wouldn't have written those kind of songs. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, but there's, as I said, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. Anthrax musically, vocalist out the window.
Guitar-wise too, right? 90s kind of...
Yeah. They were pretty much a straight-up thrash band in the 80s. I mean, they played around with rap and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of... That's where I kind of...
That's where you fell off?
That's where I kind of fell off.
Yeah.
That, and I met Danny Liker, and he was a dick.
Well, he was only on the first record.
Yeah, I opened for Nuclear Assault, and I met him, and I don't know, he was I guess it doesn't really impact my opinion on Anthrax, but him. And I mean, maybe it was just one of those days for him.
He just had a bad day.
But we were his opening act, and we were just... the rest of the band was on the stage hanging out with us.
Right.
And he basically walked by us and was like, fuck you guys. All right, thanks.
But yeah, he was only on the first record anyway. And if you want to be a real nerd about this, you could also throw fucking Neil Turbin into the mix, who sang on Fistful of Metal.
Yeah.
But obviously he didn't last.
Yeah.
I've read Scott Ian's book, and they said there was a lot of problems with him. He was a big egotistical dick. I don't know that. I'm just repeating what Scott Ian said in his book.
Yeah, it's in a book, yeah. Well, then Dan Spitz quit after Sound of White Noise. To make, clocks or something, right?
He's a watchmaker, yeah.
I've always thought that might be pretty interesting to do, though.
It's got to be very fucking tedious. It's definitely something you got to love doing.
I guess it depends on what kind of things making, but all those little gears and maybe it's. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm weird, so I don't know. And I play the guitar, so maybe there's some sort of weird correlation there.
That could very well be.
But yeah, we should probably get back on topic.
But yeah, it's musically they changed so much. Going from vocalist to vocalist, like they were, even the last album Belladonna was on, Persistence of Time, that was just a pure thrash record. A little long-winded maybe, but it was a very fucking thrashy album. And then you got Sound of White Noise, where I don't want to say they toned their sound down, because they really didn't, but they got a little more groove-oriented and a little less thrashy. And I definitely think Pantera had a lot of influence on that, and Machine Head and Fear Factory and bands that were getting big at that point in time in metal.
Which kind of happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if Belladonna had stuck around, or if they had decided to keep Belladonna, I don't think it would have went over as well as it did.
Musically, his vocals over those songs.
I don't think it would have done so good.
Now, do they play any of those songs live with Belladonna in the band?
I've heard that they do only.
Okay.
But I think that that's the only John Bush track that they do with Belladonna. Which is good, because not for nothing, I really just don't see Belladonna pulling off the same kind of attitude and vibe that Bush had, over top of those songs. Because that was his lyrics and everything, That's like, even when you hear Bruce Dickinson sing Paul Di'Anno's stuff, it's still kind of different.
Yeah, but
even though Bruce Dickinson's way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Well, like Bring Your Daughters to the Slaughter. And,
right.
I like it. That's with Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. But, I think had Belladonna still been in the band, I think Anthrax would have folded a little sooner. And also, I love the John Bush stuff. It's good. It's a different direction.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
But the John Bush stuff is good. He's got a cool voice. It's just, if you're asking me to pick who I like better,
it fits better in the '90s, I think.
Right.
His voice for the more popular. Grunge was the thing at that time.
Yeah.
And Belladonna's voice is '80s.
Totally.
Which I love. But
the cool thing about John
Bush... For that
Bush,
era, which is the question, I guess.
Right. The cool thing about the John Bush era was Dimebag did a lot of leads on the last 3 albums that John Bush was on. So they didn't really have, like, an official lead guy.
That kind of stuff sometimes annoys me, because I can understand having, like, a guest on a song or something. But then you get, like, a guy doing a bunch of solos, and then it's like, now you can't play those songs out live without a lead guitar player.
They had a live lead guy. They had
but who's gonna
Paul Crook.
Who's gonna pull off the Dimebag solos?
Yeah.
Like the one he did for King Diamond was fairly.
It was kind of a basic solo. It wasn't really mind blowing.
Yeah, but maybe that was he just went with the noise kind of.
Yeah, and I think he just wanted to be on a King Diamond record.
I would too.
So, yeah, fuck that. Totally.
Yeah, but so I think they were kind of where they should have been era-wise.
Yeah, and if you read Scott Ian's book, it was time for Belladonna to leave at that point, because like they had gotten to the point where they wanted to start writing different stuff, and Scott says that like Belladonna really just didn't fit anymore, and they felt like it was time to turn a new leaf and do something different and try to experiment around. So I think they did the right thing.
I met Belladonna once.
Yeah, I met him too. He was really cool.
Yeah,
he was really cool.
I went to see his, solo band, project, whatever it was. One of my buddies was opening, and we were sitting there watching the opening act at one of the tables, and he came over and just sat at our table with us.
Wait, was that the Left in Ruin show?
No. It was at the Loft though. No, it was Hard Rock Zombie, I think.
Oh, okay.
And he just sat at our table. Like we all just look over. We're like, okay, and he just sat there and he hung out with us and watched.
Yeah, he's really nice.
This is awesome. I'm watching the bands. So not only did he come and sit at a table with a bunch of people that he didn't know, he was watching the opening acts,
right?
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
when
Like,
Left
you
in
don't get a
Ruins-
lot of that.
Right, when Left in Ruins opened for him, he fucking stood like right up front and watched us the whole time.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
really cool. When the headliner does, I mean, Shadows Fall did that too. I don't know about now, but back when I opened for them, like 13 years ago, they did that, and
Yeah, and I've
were
met
cool.
Scott. Scott's cool. I think he's a germaphobe. I went to shake his hand, and he fucking gave me pound.
yeah,
Because he first went and he was like, oh.
maybe.
But he was still cool.
He does kind of look like Howie Mandel a little.
Deal or no deal. I met Frank Bello a couple times too, and he's very nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw him actually do a bass clinic down in New Jersey, and he fucking hung out with everybody afterwards and signed stuff.
That's
It's
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
So I guess our answer is they kind of belonged where they were.
Yeah.
They fit.
Yeah. They
So.
fit. Each one of them fit for their era.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they had the right idea.
thanks for the question, Will.
Yeah. Anybody
Appreciate
else
it.
have any questions? Let us know. We could use some stuff to talk about.
Definitely.
2 metalheads.
2 metalheads.